Hello students. So now we are going to begin with the new chapter, that is the Mughal Empire. We are going to study entirely about the Mughal Empire. Let us first begin with the introduction. Babur invaded India in 1526 and after overthrowing the Delhi Sultanate established the Mughal rule. What happened actually? Babur, he invaded India when in 1526 and he overthrew Delhi Sultanate and then he established this Mughal rule. Now in this lesson we are going to study the period of Akbar and Aurangzeb that is being described here in this lesson. That is the period of Akbar and the period of Aurangzeb is described in this lesson. Their administration and contributions to culture are also explained. How was their administration? What they have contributed towards the culture, that we are also going to study in this lesson. At the end, the causes for the decline of the empire are mentioned. So at the end of this lesson, what are the reasons or what are the causes for the decline of Mughal empire are being discussed in this lesson. Okay, we shall start studying this lesson now. There were three empires in the history of India. One is Maurya Empire, second is Gupta Empire and the third one is Mughal Empire. See, totally how many empires are there in the history of India? There are three empires in the history of India. The first one is the Maurya Empire. Then the second one is the Gupta Empire, which we have both the empires we have already studied. Now we are going to study about the Mughal Empire. The founder of the Mughal dynasty was Babur. Who was the founder of Mughal dynasty? Babur. He was the founder of Mughal dynasty. Mughal dynasty. He was ruling a small region in Afghanistan called Kabul and was waiting for an opportunity to attack India, which was rich and prosperous. See, actually Babur, what happened is he was ruling a very small region in Afghanistan. What is the name of that small region? The name of that small region is Kabul. He used to rule there, but he was waiting for an opportunity to invade India, which was very rich and prosperous. Babur belonged to the Mongol race. To which race he belonged? To the Mongol race. The word Mughal comes from Mongol. Where this word Mughal came? This word Mughal came from this Mongol race. Rose was introduced to India by Babur. Who introduced rose? Rose is introduced to India by Babur. Taking advantage of the growing weakness of the Delhi Sultans, Babur invaded Delhi and ended their region. See what happened actually? Babur, what he did, he took advantage of the growing weakness, means there was weakness going in between Delhi Sultans. He took the advantage and he invaded Delhi and ended this rule of Delhi Sultans. But he could not stop at that because the Rajputs and the Afghans resisted him strongly. See, just after taking this Delhi Sultans, he could not stop there. What was the reason? The reason was that the Rajputs and the Afghans, they were opposing him very strongly. The brave warrior that he was, Babur with his powerful weapons forced the opposing armies to retreat. See, Babur, he was of course very powerful, he was a very brave warrior. Those who were opposing him, he retreated them back because he was a very brave warrior. Soon Babur conquered Delhi. After retreating, what he did Babur? He conquered Delhi, Agra and as well as the surrounding areas and established his kingdom. But what happened is Babur, he died very soon. His son Humayun ascended the throne. Means after the death of Babur, who came on the throne? His son Humayun, he came to the throne. Now we are going to study about Humayun. Though Humayun managed to overpower his enemies in the beginning, he had to face defeat at the hands of Afghan chieftain Sher Shah Suri. See what happened? Humayun, he was also very powerful. He overpowered his enemies in the beginning. As soon as he was throned, in the beginning he showed his power. But at what happened? Later he faced the defeat by the Afghan chieftain whose name is Sher Shah Suri. Having lost his kingdom, he fled to Persia and stayed there for 15 years. See, Humayun, after losing his power, he went back to Persia and stayed there only for 15 years. When the Afghan rule in India weakened, Humayun invaded India and conquered Delhi. After he lost his power, he went back to Persia, stayed there for 15 years. But after having the knowledge that the Afghan rule in India has weakened, he came back to India, he invaded India and conquered back Delhi. However, he died within a short period of time thereafter. Means after conquering Delhi, what happened? Humayun, he died in a very short period of time. Next comes Humayun's son, whose name is Akbar. Now we are going to study about Akbar. Who is he? Son of Humayun. Humayun's son Akbar had always aspired to build a vast empire in India. See, Akbar, he always had a thought of building a very vast, large empire in India. With this intention, he tried to persuade the mighty Rajput kings to support him. With the intention of having vast empire, Akbar, what he did, he went to the Rajputs and asked them for the support. Some among them joined hands with him. Few of the Rajputs agreed to join hands with Akbar. But Rana Pratap Singh of Mewar opposed Akbar. When Akbar went to him, Rana Pratap Singh, what he did? Rana Pratap Singh of Mewar, he did not join hands with Akbar. He was a proud and brave warrior. Later, a fierce battle between the Rana and Akbar took place at Haldighat. That is, when Rana Pratap Singh of Mewar did not agree to join hands with Akbar, what happened? There was a very huge war or very huge battle in between Rana and Akbar, as Akbar was a very brave and proud warrior. Though Rana Pratap Singh was defeated in the battle, he did not bow down to Akbar. See what happened? Even after being defeated by Akbar, Rana Pratap Singh, he did not bow down to him. Thereafter, Akbar engaged himself in military campaigns for many years. As a result, he conquered Gujarat, Bengal, Kashmir, Kabul and other areas and built a vast empire. After defeating Rana Pratap Singh, what Akbar did? He actively participated in building his military, in constructing well his military campaign and for many years. And then what happened? He conquered Gujarat, Bengal, Kashmir, Kabul and other areas and he built his vast empire. Now we are going to study about Akbar's achievements. What are the achievements of Akbar? Akbar was an able administrator and a broad-minded ruler. How was he? He was a very able, capable administrator and he had a very bright, broad-minded ruler. He opposed many of the qualities, he possessed many of the qualities needed for a great king. How was he an able administrator? Whatever the characteristics or whatever the qualities an able administration or a great king should have, all these qualities were found in Akbar. He was not a despotic ruler. See, of course, Akbar, he was very powerful, but he never showed his power in a cruel way. He realized that in order to preserve his vast empire, it was necessary to win the trust of his Hindu subjects who formed the majority. See, Akbar, he was so brave that he realized in order to maintain his vast empire, it was necessary even to win the trust of Hindus who were the major people, or who were the major subjects, who were the majority in his period. He appointed Hindus to high posts in his court. Akbar, he was tolerant towards all the religions, and what he did, he appointed even Hindus to the high positions in his court. He withdrew the personal tax called jizya, which was imposed by the earlier Muslim kings on Hindus, and also the tax levied at pilgrimage centers. See what he did, earlier Muslim kings, what they did, they imposed a tax rule called jizya only on Hindus. That was being removed by Akbar, and also tax levied means also the tax applied at the pilgrimage centers, that was also removed by Akbar. Akbar's land revenue policy was well received by the people. Land revenue policy means the tax was supposed to be given by what will be the, like, depending upon the richness of soil, depending upon the yield produced, tax was supposed to be given on the land. It was framed by his revenue minister Raja Todarmal. This revenue system was, who framed this revenue system? Raja Todarmal. He framed this revenue system. Next comes the religious policy. After Akbar's achievements, now we are going to study about the religious policy. Religious policy. Akbar was tolerant of other religions. He constructed a prayer hall, Ibadat Khana, in his new capital Fatehpur Sikri, where he discussed religious matters with leaders of various Islamic sects. See what happened? Akbar, as he was tolerant to other religions also, what he did, he constructed a prayer hall. What is the name of that prayer hall? Ibadat Khana, in his new capital. Which was his new capital? Fatehpur Sikri. There he built this prayer hall, where he discussed all the religious matters with leaders of various Islamic sectors. He invited Hindu, Jain, Buddhist, Parsi and Christian leaders to discuss their views on religious issues. He not only concentrated on this, but what he did, he also invited Hindu, Jain, Buddhist, Parsi and Christian leaders to discuss their views, what are their views in the religious issues. As a result of such discussions, he evolved a new sect called the Deen-e-Ilahi. See, after discussing with various religious leaders, after getting new ideas, after getting the good thoughts from everyone, what he decided? He evolved a new sector called Deen-e-Ilahi. It incorporated some of the best principles of different religions. What did he incorporate from there? What are the best principles of different religions? He incorporated that also. However, it could attract only a handful of followers. But this type, what happened? He did not get many followers. Only few followers he had with him. Next, we are going to study about patronage of arts. Patronage of arts. Akbar patronized literature and art. Akbar, what he did? He also supported literature and art. Faizi, Abul Fazl and Birbal were the distinguished poets in his court. These were very notable poets in his court. The immortal singer Tansen adorned his court. We all have heard about the singer Tansen. He was very beautiful singer of his court, very attractive singer in that. Because of Tansen, his court was attractive. Akbar's contributions to architecture and painting are also remarkable. Jahangir and Shah Jahan, who succeeded Akbar to the throne, continued his policies to a great extent. After Akbar, Shah Jahan and Jahangir, who succeeded after Akbar, they also followed principles or whatever the administrations were made by the Akbar. They continued his policies to a greater extent. Shah Jahan achieved fame by getting the famous Taj Mahal built at Agra, the Mammoth Red Fort at Delhi, and other stately palaces. See what happened? Shah Jahan, he achieved lot of famous by constructing Taj Mahal built at Agra, a mammoth in the sense a very huge red fort at Delhi, and many impressive palaces. These were being built by Shah Jahan. Now, after this, we are going to study about Aurangzeb. We shall start studying about Aurangzeb. Shah Jahan's son Aurangzeb is the last well-known Mughal emperor. So, who is Aurangzeb? He is the son of Shah Jahan. He is the last well-known Mughal emperor. He ruled for a long period of 50 years. See, Aurangzeb, he ruled for a very long years of what was his period of ruling? It was 50 years. During this period, the empire expanded in all directions, but at the end, it declined rapidly. Actually, what happened was, during the rule of Aurangzeb, because he ruled for 50 years, his empire started expanding in all the directions. But what happened, as he established a very vast empire in almost all the directions, the same way it started declining in a very fast period. It declined very rapidly. For what are the reasons for that? The religious policy. Aurangzeb was an orthodox Muslim. Orthodox Muslim in the sense, he purely followed the traditional rules of Muslim. He stayed away from drinking wine. Gambling was not allowed. Entertainment and music, he did not involve himself in entertainment and music. He lived a very simple life. Aurangzeb lived a very simple life. Aurangzeb gave up the liberal policy of Akbar, means he reimposed the jizya. Liberal policy means Akbar, he was tolerant to all religions, but Aurangzeb stopped all those. He reimposed jizya, means he forced the Hindus to give back the tax. This led to many political rebellions. This led to what? Many political oppositions started during this rule of Aurangzeb. The Sikh rebellion. First, we are going to study about the Sikh oppositions. The Sikh were provoked by Aurangzeb's religious policy. The Sikhs, they got anger because of the Aurangzeb's religious policy. The Sikh Guru Tegh Bahadur was publicly executed in Delhi. His son Guru Gobind Singh organized the Sikh community into a militant sect. See, actually the son of Sikh Guru, who is he? The Sikh Guru, that is Tegh Bahadur. His son Guru Gobind Singh, what he did? He organized one Sikh community into a militant sector. The members were designated as Singh means those members who were in this community, that is Sikh community, they were called as Singh. Singh in the sense what? The meaning of Singh is lion. The group, that military group, they called themselves as lion. They had to possess the five Ks at all time. This community, that's Singh community, all the time they need to wear these 5 Ks. Which are they? Kesh means having long hair. Kangan, that is comb. Kirpan, that is always having a sword with them. Kacha means a pair of knickerbockers, and also kara means steel bracelet. We can see Sikh people still wearing all these things. This custom is prevalent among Sikhs even today. We can see still Sikhs having long hair, wearing kangan, right? Everything is still being followed till today. Then we are going to study about the rebellions. Rebellions means oppositions who took opposition towards the rules of Aurangzeb. The Sikhs and the Rajputs strongly opposed Aurangzeb in North India. What happened? The Sikh as well as the Rajputs, what they did? They strongly started opposing Aurangzeb in North India. Shivaji rose in revolt in the Deccan. The meantime, Shivaji, he started revolting at what place? In the Deccan. The revolts continued for a long time, and as a result, Aurangzeb lost enormous wealth, a large part of his army, and worst of all, his prestige. What happened? Because of this continuous oppositions, because of this continuous wars, what happened? Because these wars went on for a longer time, Aurangzeb, he lost his enormous wealth. Huge wealth was lost by Aurangzeb. More than wealth, what happened is Aurangzeb, he lost his prestige. Many provinces of his empire became free. The Deccan Wars sapped Aurangzeb's economic power as well as military strength. What happened is the Deccan, what they did, they took out everything from Aurangzeb, that is the economic power, even the military strength was being taken away. Being exhausted, he died in the Deccan. Because of continuous wars for longer time, Aurangzeb, he got exhausted and he died in the Deccan. With his death, the Mughal Empire was greatly weakened. After the death of Aurangzeb, Mughal Empire completely it was weakened. Now, we are going to study about the cultural contributions. The cultural contributions. Among that, first we shall study about the Mughal administration. The Mughal administration. The emperor possessed all civil and military powers. During this Mughal administration, this emperor, it had all the civil and military powers. His judgment was final in all matters. The empire was divided into, during this Mughal administration, the empire was divided into provinces, which we call as subas, and then districts, that is sarkars, and taluks, in the sense paraganas. The Kotwal looked after law and order in the cities. Kotwal, in the sense the police, he looked after the law and order in the cities. Next comes the revenue system. Revenue system. Akbar's minister Raja Todarmal framed the land revenue system. Under the system, the land revenue was fixed on the basis of fertility of the soil. See, as I said earlier, what happened is, under the Akbar's minister, there was Raja Todarmal who framed this land revenue system, means paying tax on land. On what basis? Depending upon the fertility of their soil, they were supposed to pay the land revenue. And next comes about the literature. The Mughals patronized Persian literature in a special way. Mughals, what they did, they patronized Persian literature, but in a very special way. There were famous historians like Abul Fazl, Nizamuddin, and Badauni in Akbar's court. Akbarnama is an important literary work of Abul Fazl. Abul Fazl, he has one important literary work whose name is Akbarnama. Dara Shoko, the Mughal prince, was an extraordinary scholar. What was his work? He translated the Bhagavad Gita. See, Dara Shok, what he did? He translated Bhagavad Gita. Though Hindi literature did not receive royal patronage, it flourished on account of the efforts of the Bhakti saints. Hindi literature, it did not got royal place, but it was flourished because of whom? Because of these Bhakti saints. Ramacharitamanasa, the well-known work of Tulsidas, is of this period, that is, it is of the period of this Mughal Empire. Who has written this? Ramacharitamanasa. It is being written by Tulsidas in this period of Mughals. Next comes about the architecture. Humayun's tomb in Delhi was constructed during the early period of Akbar's reign. See what happened? Humayun's tomb in Delhi, it was constructed during the early period of Akbar. He built a new capital near Agra and named it Fatehpur Sikri. Akbar, what he did? He built a new capital. What he named? He named it as Fatehpur Sikri. The magnificent palaces, mosques and pavilions of this place attract tourists from all over the world. There are many magnificent huge palaces, mosques and also these pavilions which have become the attractive places for the tourists from all over the world. The entrance to the Jamia Masjid, that is Buland Darwaza, is the tallest in India. How tall it is? It is 40 meter tall. The Mughal architecture attained its glory during the reign of Shah Jahan. See, Mughal architecture, it attained its glory during the period of Shah Jahan. Moti Mahal, the palace that he built in Agra fort, is extremely beautiful. The Moti Mahal, which is built by Shah Jahan in the palace, how it is? It is very extremely beautiful. The Taj Mahal at Agra shows Mughal architecture at its best. Taj Mahal, it is so best that it exhibits how the Mughal architecture is. It shows the bestest of the Mughal architecture. This wonderful monument was built in the memory of his queen Mumtaz Mahal in the 17th century. There are tombs of Shah Jahan and Mumtaz in his mausoleum. Mausoleum in the sense that there are many tombs of Shah Jahan and Mumtaz in that impressive building. It was Shah Jahan who got the famous Red Fort built at Delhi. What happened is Red Fort, which is very famous at Delhi, is built by Shah Jahan. Next comes the paintings. A new school of painting emerged during the period of Mughals. There were more than 100 artists in Akbar's court. See what happened? A new school itself began during this rule of Mughals. There were how many? More than 100 artists in Akbar's court. The art of painting reached its peak under the patronage of Jahangir. See, painting reached its peak during the rule of Jahangir. Aurangzeb, who was orthodox in outlook, he did not encourage painting. But what happened later? Aurangzeb, he was a very traditional ruler. He was very orthodox. He did not encourage painting. Next comes music. Music received special patronage during Akbar's reign. Music, it received its special place during the rule of or during the period of Akbar. The large number of musicians in his court were divided into 7 groups. There were a large group of musicians who were divided into 7 groups. Each day a particular group gave a musical recital. See, there were 7 groups. Each day different groups gave their musical recites. Tansen was the most remarkable musician of Akbar's court. Jahangir and Shah Jahan also extended this patronage of music, but what Aurangzeb did, he banned music. However, music lingered in the hearts of people. Even if Aurangzeb banned music, still music was living in the heart of people. This is all about what? About the cultural contributions of Mughal emperor. Now let us know what are the reasons for the decline of Mughal emperor. Okay, the decline of the Mughal empire. Now let us find what were the reasons for the decline of Mughal empire. The empire began to decline towards the end of Aurangzeb's regency. This Mughal empire started declining towards the end of this Aurangzeb's period. The reasons for the decline are, there are various reasons. Let us know one by one. The chieftains became corrupt. What happened actually? The chieftains who were there, they gradually started becoming corrupt. Intense fighting took place among the claimants to the throne. There was a lot of a fight between those eligible people to get themselves on the throne. The provincial governors took advantage of the situation and declared their independence, because all the eligible people who can sit on the throne, as they were fighting among themselves, these provincial governors, what they did, they took the advantage of this fight and they all started declaring independent. Aurangzeb's desire to convert India into an Islamic state met with opposition everywhere. What was Aurangzeb's desire? His desire was to convert India into an Islamic state, but he met in a very strong opposition from everywhere. The prolonged warfare with the Sikh, the Rajputs and the Marathas fully exhausted the resources of the empire. See, there was for a very long duration, there were wars with the Sikh, the Rajputs and also the Marathas. This caused all the exhaustion of the resources that the empire had. In the meanwhile, Nadir Shah, a Persian invader, raided Delhi. During the war against the Sikh, the Rajputs and the Marathas, one of the Persian invader, whose name is Nadir Shah, he raided Delhi. He looted the wealth amassed by the Mughals over a period of 2 centuries. See, Nadir Shah, what he did? He looted all the wealth which the Mughals collected over a period of 2 centuries. He carried away the world famous Kohinoor diamond. What he did, Nadir Shah, along with him when he was living, he took the world famous Kohinoor diamond along with him, and he also carried the peacock throne of Shah Jahan. The treasury of the Mughals became empty. So what happened at the end? All the treasure of the Mughal empire entirely became empty. These were the reasons why the Mughal empire declined. So this is all about the Mughal emperor from its origin to the end of the decline of the Mughal empire. I hope you all have followed this lesson. Thank you.